Now, I promised people we would talk a little bit this week about it because we've talked about it in the past over the years, but WWE finally put up on the WWE Network a lot of the matches from the Fiesta Lucha pilot that you and Eric Bischoff worked together to create back in the WCW days. And just based on the Twitter talk and social media talk, a lot of people aren't familiar with that project, how it came to be and what happened to it. So I wanted to take a few minutes to kind of update the newer fans who are asking all these questions on social media. Let's talk a little bit about the background of the Fiesta Lucha project, how that came together and what happened with it.
Well, what happened is that, as you know, I'm very vocal when I want something. So I kept telling Eric, how is it possible that you have all these fucking luchadors and WWE beat us to the punch and they have the Super Astro show? We should have our own fucking show. So he at the beginning was like, well, I want to buy Promo Azteca. And I go, okay, that's pretty cool. So he was going to actually buy Promo Azteca, and then he got replaced by Bill Bush, I think was his name. And so Bill Bush came in there. Anyways, at the end of the day, when Bischoff finally came back, he basically said, you know what, you're on your own. And really the only guys that helped me with this was Jimmy Hart and this guy called Keith Mitchell, who's now in AEW as like
very talented guy.
Keith Mitchell. And they helped me with everything, bro. And we went out there and we had like a replica. If you watch the show, you know, like Southwestern setting, and we had dancers, and I just got all the best. I got all the luchadors, all the guys that could work the lucha style, you know, whether it was Disco or Chris Jericho. I got some guys from LA like Superboy, some guys from Mexico, you know, I think Super Astro, Felino, Kendo. Like I got some of the best talent we had, and we went out there and we did it, and we were expecting for him to put it on Telemundo. I've never asked Eric about this, and I should, but what I heard, I think Keith Mitchell might have told me this, is that people were, you know, production was like, well, fuck, we got Thunder, we got Nitro, we got pay-per-views, we got Saturday, and now we got this thing, and they started to bitch about it. So he spent all this fucking money on this show that he never even showed. I never thought I'd ever see it. I've never even seen it, you know, and now WWE brought it out.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, it's an amazing look back at talent because, like you said, you know, obviously it's got the Rey Mysterio and the Juventudes and the Psychoses, who everybody knew and recognized as part of the WCW Lucha era. But then you had like people were losing their minds that Felino was in a match there, and some of the stuff that like that you and Parata Morgan did in your matches and everything. And it's really cool to see that stuff. So if you have WWE Network and you haven't checked it out, it's under Fiesta Lucha. And if you don't have WWE Network, I'm sure in this day and age of YouTube,
have you seen all the matches?
I haven't seen all of it. I've seen a bunch of it over the past week, but I haven't had a chance to sit down and put it on the network.
Who surprised you out of everybody that you saw there?
Well, I think it was less of the ring work that surprised me because I've seen all those guys kind of in their prime. But I had totally forgotten, like you said, that you used the guys from LA, the Pilotos and the Superboys, and that the Felino had been in a match in WCW. And I think too, you know, we had seen it before. I had seen it before, but like you mentioned, the fact that they spent so much money to create this set that kind of looked like the Alamo.
$400,000 was spent on that.
Yeah, and and I mean, it really, because you know. Growing up, I think I was in college when the kind of big Monday Night War was going on, but everybody always says, oh yeah, I had to watch the beginning of Nitro because I had to watch the Lucha match, and you knew the Lucha match was going to be on, and you knew that there was going to be maybe one, maybe two Lucha matches throughout the Nitro show that really kind of blew people's minds. But to see the entire card laid out, start to finish, with these matches that for the most part were just, you know, insane Lucha. And, you know, we kind of, spoiled. We're kind of spoiled these days, right? Nowadays, everybody does all these moves and nothing's, you know, quite as special. But when you see this pilot episode and you see this match after match, you kind of are taken back to this time when this was not the norm. This was maybe a treat you got to see every now and then. And, you know, like you kind of said.
The people were like going nuts.
And even, I think even with WWE, and Super Astro. I mean, yes, you had guys like Mr. Aguila who were going out there and they were doing, mind-blowing dives and flips and this and that. But even there, Super Astro's roster was not that roster that you had.
They couldn't hold a candle to us. And I've said this a lot of times, and please, if I'm incorrect, correct me. One of the things that Peña did wrong and Quiñones did wrong, because Quiñones didn't know anything about Lucha Libre talent. He usually would call me and ask me, and I'd say, well, get this guy and get that guy. But, he was more into like hardcore matches, like, Puerto Rican style. But like when Peña went to, remember when they did that big show in San Antonio in the Alamo with WWE?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, with
right. He brought in the wrong guys. He brought in Aguayo, he brought in Cibernetico. And I was thinking to myself, bro, that's not what people want to see. And when Quiñones brought his guys in, those were the wrong guys. Like, I had the best guys. And I will tell you my favorite part of the whole show. The main event was me against Disco, with Disco doing the job. Boom. Nothing.
He does not seem amused by that.
Unless he's frozen.
Well, I'm just telling you. I mean, there's always every week on the like in the YouTube channel and everything, people are complaining that I don't get to talk enough. All right, and so
I don't think that is a valid.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Well, what do you see? Wait, are you seeing the people who complain I talk too much and don't let anybody else get a word in?
I did see people complain that the disco list was not on last week, and I know people were very upset about that. So I'll give you that.
In a couple weeks, it's more of an attraction. You don't want to see. That's what people.
Is the disco list the Brock Lesnar of this show?
Yeah.
Let me say this: is that when you guys talk that much, it bores me.
No. Okay, I'm so sorry.
Okay,
really.
So
we just included you in the conversation to wake you up.